This is another Classics but Not Masterpieces episode, and this time we are featuring the electronic jazz funk album On the Corner by Miles Davis. Here we cover how this album could have even been greater, even though it's a classic. It's 1972, and Miles Davis is using elements of avant-garde, rock, and psychedelic funk for an urban appeal. On the Corner is a jazz fusion funk album that primarily features Miles on trumpet, Michael Henderson on bass, Al Foster on drums, James Mtume and Don Alias on percussions, Chick Corea and Herbie Hancock on electric pianos, and John McLaughlin on guitar, and Carlos Garnett and Dave Liebman on saxophones. There are also many other musicians who played on this album. Miles drew inspiration from the experimental music of Stockhausen and popular artists James Brown and Sly Stone. On the Corner is another one of Miles Davis's early fusion albums. It starts off with a version of the title track which has 4 parts. Next is Black Satin. Then side 2 starts with 1 and 1, then Helen Butte, and ends with Mr. Freedom X. Miles in his autobiography was dissatisfied with how Columbia Records didn't promote the album properly, and he ended up being correct. Because the next year, in '73, Herbie Hancock's Headhunters was released, and it sold like hotcakes. And Miles was upset about this as he let them know, but it was too late. Also, we find out later, like much of the Miles discography, there could have been more music that was released, as Miles also predicted. Over 3 decades later, the box set of On the Corner sessions came out in 2007, and this box set revealed more to what could have been. There are 3 tracks from those sessions that could have also been released: Red China Blues, What If, and the 4th take of On the Corner, the short version. These tracks were played during or around the same period as the music that was released on the album. On a side note, Bill Laswell released a remix from some of these sessions on the album called Panthalassa, the music of Miles Davis, that had an exceptional remix of the track What If that was released back in 1998. Although these extra tracks wouldn't fit on a single album back then, perhaps Columbia Records could have released a double album with these 3 tracks to make the On the Corner album a masterpiece, along with a better promotion and remixing. Some of the music from the On the Corner sessions ended up on other Miles Davis albums. As far as the music goes, On the Corner uses layers of heavy funk with street beats. Miles leaves most of the traditional jazz forms behind, as he uses a wah-wah on his trumpet to try and sound like a guitar. Michael Henderson holds down the repetitive bass grooves. There is no short of percussions on this album, from multiple drums, congas, including the tabla playing of Badal Roy. During this period, this album was hard for the jazz critics to categorize, but it wasn't for them. On the Corner remains a classic within the Miles Davis catalog. This is Flame Sky. See you on the next one.